afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching from. And hey, happy December. How time flies. We're already on the last month of the year already. So I hope you are doing great. Nelly and I, we are on a fantastic session this week, and it's all about managing Christmas demands as single parents. So we're going to be exploring all the different options because we don't want anybody to go through stress. In fact, I am trying my best not to go through any stress because of Christmas. So for anybody who doesn't know me, my name is Peggy Barre. I am a survivor empowerment coach and founder of Arise and Thrive Academy. I'm going to pass it to Nelly to introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. Yes, it's December. How time flies. In a few weeks, 2025 will be over. Welcome to another session. My name is Nelly Kwasunwi, a social worker and transformational life coach. It's always a pleasure being on these sessions. Welcome.
Yeah, so December comes with excitement and also comes with stress, right? As parents, the holiday season can really be magical, but it can also be very extra. There can be extra pressure on parents. Kids want this, they want that. My son has already made his shopping list, in fact, his Christmas list, and pasted it on the wall. Every day I'm passing, I'm looking as if I'm not seeing it. So these are just one of the things that, as parents, we can be put under pressure. But how can we be able to manage that pressure without actually losing ourselves as parents? So today we're going to be talking about statistics. We're going to be talking about all the ways that all the tricks and tips that we can give, speaking from our own experiences as parents. So Nelly, I don't know whether you want you first of all dive into some statistics so that we start from there.
Yes. We know Christmas is a very festive period. And as we are there enjoying, there are other things that we are struggling with our emotions, finances, relationships, just being there or whatnot. So I have some statistics here. I'll be looking away while reading the statistics. So this is statistics from Money Wellness. It says that 34%, this was a survey that they did, that 34% of single parents say that they miss paying household bills during the Christmas period. Over 50% of single parents with 3 or more children said being alone made it harder to afford Christmas last year. So this is a recent survey that they did just last year. 53% of single parents are worried about making ends meet during Christmas. Emotional burden, there's mental health, a lot of anxiety, and over 86% say anxiety affects their day-to-day life. And there's an increase in stress. 52% of parents, this is not just single parents, but parents in general, find Christmas very stressful. So those are the statistics that I've got. So it's quite a high number when you look at it, because we experience a lot of many different things during the festive period, but we don't realize that the person next to us or our neighbor might be going through the same experience as well. So when we share our experiences in sessions like this, then we realize how significant it is. And then the research as well just really magnifies what goes on.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, if you want to look about, like, even like, for example, if I want to take my own personal self as at the moment, you will see that those statistics are true, because you're looking at Christmas was meant to be a time of sharing. It was meant to be a period where we just celebrate love, where family comes together, they share what they have to share. It's a period of that belongingness. But I feel that Christmas has been commercialized in such a way that we've lost the focus of celebrating Christmas. We're actually losing it, right? People are more focused on the gift and, what I'm going to do to get to my children, all those things. And then when we focus on that, we are actually losing the essence of that togetherness, that family, coming together. Whatever thing. I remember when we were growing up, Christmas was an exciting moment, Nelly. Exciting. And it's not as if we were expecting much. As we were growing up, if our parents could afford, like afford us, like maybe buy us clothes or maybe shoe or something, well done, we'll be so happy. But even if we don't have it, we are looking forward to the food. We're looking forward to the fact that we're going to eat that day. We're going to be moving from house to house and eating chicken, eating rice, So that excitement as a child, that was what was important. But today, in our today's world, we've made it in such a way that it's becoming a chore, it's becoming a burden on parents. And as single parent or parents, especially, not just single parents, if we're not careful, we can lose the focus. We can get the gifts, we can get even expensive gifts for those children. But that day, do they feel that family vibe? Do they feel that togetherness? Do they feel that love? That you can get them expensive toy, and yes, they're going to be playing on the toy, but then they're lacking that warmth that they need, that they want from us as parents. So this is why we're very, very, we need to actually be aware of these things so that we don't lose track and then become like even get ourselves under pressure because we need to meet the demands of these children. And yes, we're going to be learning how to say no to our children. So yeah, Nelly, I don't know whether you want to add something there before we move to our first point of how to manage expectation.
Yeah, you are right there. Christmas, in general, festivities have now become commercialized.
Mm,
And not to repeat what you've said, parents focus on buying materials because now we are in a materialistic world, and
mhm,
parents buy toys. Yes, it's good to buy toys, but then it's not just to give the toys to the children, which unfortunately that's what a lot of parents do. They just get the toys and give the child. I've spent a lot buying toys and all whatnot. But then where is that connection? Where is the connection? It is very important because the connection has to do with emotions. And emotions
yeah,
is one of the things that I talk about almost all the time, which is
yeah,
very, very important because we are emotional beings. Our
mhm,
children are growing up and learning from us. So then, if we practice that, we buy gifts and give our children, but we do not attach that emotion into the
mhm,
gift, the children will not value it.
yeah,
That's why sometimes you see parents complain that I have spent so much money buying something for the child, but the child doesn't even appreciate. Of course, because emotionally the child feels empty, and to
yeah,
them it's just something that you've bought. But then you can still take that same thing, or even one that is cheaper, and you give the child, and the child will appreciate it more than the expensive one. So it just depends on the connection, the emotion, the feeling
yeah,
that you attach to whatever you give. So then it comes back to Christmas. We are just a few weeks away from Christmas. How are you planning to spend your Christmas? Do you focus on the belongingness, like Peggy talked about, the connections, or you just want to buy things and dump in the house and then you have other plans? So stay tuned. Let's deep dive.
definitely. So we're going to be diving that first point. Our first point that we're going to be talking about is how to manage expectation, and that means your own expectation and the expectation from others. Now, this period, Christmas period, some people may be in this period where unfortunately different things may have happened to them. Some people maybe have fled their homes. Some people are homeless. Some people, I don't know, different things may have happened, and then this is the period where you're thinking that, oh my God, I should have been in my home, I should have been in, but then here I am, and all whatnot. Again, we're going to talk about that. But this all these changes around this time of the year can be stressful on its own. And then plus on that, children are there. I remember around this time, about how many, about, I would say about 7 years ago, because I remember my relationship broke down around September, and then October, November, December, we were like in a temporary refuge. And do you know the tradition that we've always had, like, family together with, but then here I was with the three kids in a strange environment and all of that, not being able to work and not being able to get all the things that we used to get for them. That alone can be stressful, right? And then you're going through the point of so that is where your expectation, because those children are expecting that you should give them what you used to give them as a tradition or as a routine. But then your own expectation now, you're trying to do your best to say, oh, how can I even how can I meet the expectation of my kids? So these are some of the expectations that we get. Children are pouring the demand on you. You yourself, you're expecting to make things to a certain standard because you don't want to feel guilty and feel bad, right? So that both expectation coming from both end can be stressful. How can we manage these expectations? And this is where we're talking about emotions, Nelly. And so, yeah, let me pass that to you.
Yeah, my experience similar to yours, and coincidentally similar times. So I
Mm,
remember the first Christmas that I spent with my children in a refuge,
mm,
me and my four children in a refuge. I was not working at the time because there was so much going on. I was
yeah.
not working. And that day, as I'm talking, I can still visualize it. That day, I was with my children in a refuge, that time, sorry. So the staff called for me. And as I went to the office, they gave me a hamper. I was never as excited as I was
Mm,
on that day. They gave me an extra big hamper. So, for those
wow.
who don't know what a hamper is, it's a
Mm-hmm.
basket that they've put a collection of different food items, and because it was Christmas, they put
Yeah.
things related to Christmas. And it was just too much. I was so excited. My children were so excited because it was not just, it was good quality stuff that they gave, very
Mm-hmm.
good quality stuff. And I took it upstairs, and my whole kitchen was full. But then linking that to the emotions,
Mm-hmm.
the way I was feeling was similar to the way my children were feeling.
Mm-hmm.
We had nothing basically,
Yeah.
but we felt safe.
Yes.
And that's where the emotions come in, because we
Mm-hmm.
felt that we could do what we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
We just felt free.
Yeah.
And that was a different feeling entirely after so many years that we were like, be very
Mm-hmm.
careful, rehearse your words before talking and things like
You kind of
that. But
walking on eggshell. Yeah.
yes, that Christmas was very different.
Yeah.
And this, for me, I feel it is not just the material things that
Yes.
make a festive period worth celebrating. It's that
Mm-hmm.
emotional connection, because
Yeah.
we were really connected, though we had very little. And if the staff at the refuge did not provide us with the hamper, I don't know. But again, that's why I say there is someone, my God, he always
Absolutely.
provides. I don't know if it's a he or a
Absolutely.
she, but
Yeah.
I can't say I don't have, no, things will always
Mm-hmm.
come. That's why I trust my God.
Absolutely.
So for
Absolutely.
this Christmas, let us focus on having the connection, because that's one of the main reasons for Christmas, having
Mm-hmm.
the belongingness where do we belong, and not just focus on the material stuff.
Mhm. And I feel that one way of managing that expectation is by being honest with ourselves and being honest with the circumstances at the time. Because sometimes we want to, things may not be going all right, but we're acting as if things are all right. And if we don't speak the truth, like for example, Nelly and I will just share that experience. Maybe you're watching and you're in that same experience, or what. It's about being honest with the children as well, to say, you know what, although this is how we used to celebrate Christmas, this is how I, because the kids will, they will know. But here we are in a strange environment. Financially, we haven't got enough money. The environment is just a new environment. We're still trying to pick up pieces. So it's about being honest with ourselves. Put your children down and explain. Tell your children that, look, this, maybe that's where we need to actually break down the essence of Christmas back to them. That let them understand the essence of Christmas. Yes, I may not be able to give you the expensive toy that you expect, that you want from me, but what I can promise you is that I'm going to make sure I give you the love that you need. I'm going to make sure at least there's food, right? What do you want to eat that day? So I feel that sometimes it's about striving for what the meal that they want to eat. So you can prepare that meal that day, and then you people sit together. I remember in that our place where we were at, we had a small table. I'll never forget. We had like a small, dining table, and yes, we made it. Even though we did not get all the stuff that we would have loved to get, but we used the ones that we had. We set up our small plates, and our teacups and all of that, and whatever thing we cook. Luckily, my kids, all they wanted that day was minced beef, minced meat, and spaghetti or whatever. It was very easy. So, yes, that is a moment where you create that honesty and let them understand that, look, and also assure them that this is just a temporary moment. It's going to pass. It's not, that moment is not going to last forever. It's about giving them that reassurance and giving them hope that, look, things are going to get better. Because when we take our time to be honest and explain things to them in the best reasonable way, age appropriate explanation that we can give them, then yes, we can be able to manage that expectation. Maybe from their long list of expectation, they may start even feeling empathy for you as a parent. They must start back, well, mom, rather than you uh, doing this thing, don't worry about this. So again, it's about, I don't know, Nelly, whether that makes sense. I just feel
Yeah.
that sometimes parents, we want to keep things, and we want to still feel like we can still give them the thing that we used to when we haven't, and then it puts pressure on us.
Yeah, that's really, really true. You've made some good points there. Sometimes we parents, we put unnecessary expectations on ourselves.
Mm,
So parents are good at hiding their struggles from their children because for so many reasons. Some, they don't want their children to feel that they are less than. But like
mhm,
Peggy said, telling things to the children in an age appropriate way, it doesn't mean that you take all adult issues and dump on the child. No,
mhm,
just depending on the child's understanding and how relevant whatever you want to share is. Get the children involved because, like in my case, when I was in refuge, my children knew that we were in refuge. So
mhm,
straight away, they knew I was not working because I was struggling and I was
mhm,
not working. They knew. But as a mother, I did what I could, like taking them to school because we lived a bit further. So I had good a thing. I was driving at the time. I had my car and it made movement really easy. So
mhm,
the children know, but we need to get them involved in the decisions. Like for me, when I want to get my children involved, I ask them, what do you want to eat?
mhm,
Because when they take part in it, sometimes I might be thinking that, oh, they might want to eat something. But actually, when I speak to them, They might say something else. And when they are involved in any decision making, no matter how small it is, they feel
Mm-hmm.
valued. And it
Yeah.
will help us when we are making that planning. And
Mm-hmm.
it won't matter whether it is small or it is big. And just to go back, I mean, this Christmas, Christmas, Christmas. So I just remember there was a time, I think that was my first Christmas in the UK.
Mm.
So you're smiling. It seems as if you know what's coming. So that
Already
first
smiling
Christmas
when I
in the
haven't heard it.
UK. Okay, hear it now. So the first Christmas that we spent in the UK, I went because I mean, just seeing like Christmas lights everywhere was really strange to me because that was not how we used to celebrate anyway. So it was not the matter of sewing new dresses because that's
Mm-hmm.
not the tradition here. So I had to make adjustments. And one thing that I realized was that they were buying Christmas gifts and things like that. So at that
Mm-hmm.
time, I had no income because I was not working. So I went to the charity shop. So the charity shop is a second-hand used goods or okrika, the way we call in
Yeah.
Cameroon. So
Yeah.
I went there and I made sure I bought something for every child, and I came
Mm-hmm.
wrapped them up well, labeled it, and I felt really proud because I had basically nothing, but I
Yeah.
made sure that the children had something to open on that day.
Mm-hmm.
So on the day, the children open bed. My third child, at that time I had just three children. My third child came to me and she was like, "Oh, mom, everything is not in there." So I was like, "What?" I was like, "Mom, some parts are not there." And I was like, "Bring it, let me see." Honestly, I felt guilty. And I was
Oh.
like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." When I bought it, I didn't open it because at the back of my head, I did not realize that because it was used, all the items were not there.
Yeah.
So my daughter saw how disturbed I was. And she was like, "Oh, mom, don't worry. Don't worry. It's just that the
Mm.
parts are not there, but next time I know that you buy
Yeah.
me some." And I felt relieved. But till
Yeah.
this day, I still remember as I'm speaking, I can see her face because she was really
Yeah.
disappointed because
Disappointed.
it was a pack of toys that she really
Mm-hmm.
liked. And then when she
Oh.
opened, all the things were not there. It was something like Dora, something, these play sets. And when
Yes.
she opened it, like the plate was not there, some things were missing, and she was really
Oh.
disappointed. And then she came told me. So, I mean, this is close to 18, 17 years,
Mm-hmm.
but I
Mm-hmm.
still remember it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of those things. We just improvise whatever, and I know mothers are very good at, parents are very good at that. They just
Yeah.
improvise whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah, but those are my two major experiences around Christmas.
And the thing is that at least you went out of your way to do something, no matter how small it was, because you had a thought, at the back of your mind. We are talking here two ways. There's some parents that will not be bothered. There are some parents that will go their way to say, you know what, no matter how small, even if it means a box of chocolate for £1, I'm going to get something and put it under that tree for that child. Another thing that we want to talk about expectation, especially us from the Afro-Caribbean background, is expectation from family members. Because again, as parents, especially single parents, this is the time where budget is tight, finances is tight. And I always say to most parents, this is the time where you prioritize your own immediate family. And I mean yours, your home, yourself, and your children. Because again, we come from I know we've got external families where sometimes the demands, and don't get me wrong, people back home, they need help, they need support. They need support. And yes, we can try as much as we can to support them, but again, we need to focus on here. We need to focus here first to make sure that the little that we have we make sure the kids needs are met, at least the basic minimum. Have we got food that we're going to eat that day? Have we got whatever little thing that you want to do for those kids? Have you got them? Once those ones are sorted, then yes, you can look. And again, I'm talking about family expectation. It's not every family member that we need to please. Not every, because this is a moment where again it's about priority, where you can look at extended family and say, you know what, out of 10 of these, I'm just going to pick 2 or 3 to help during this time. Because if not, we risk spending the money, the little that we have, for external families, and then here when we're supposed to be focusing on the children, we don't have that give them what, at least the basic that we can give them. So that is another way of managing expectations. It's not every family member that we have to support. Yes, they may need support, but again, we need to streamline, weigh our pocket. What can we do? If we can, yes. If we cannot do, we cannot do it. So yeah, so that's another way that, yeah.
Yeah, like you say, there's a lot of pressure from family. I remember there was a time I was talking to someone came to me for coaching, because I mean they were struggling. So I asked them, like, just exploring what's going on. They were talking about expectations. They are helping like every family member. And I asked, if you don't send this support, what will happen? And they were like, what? I said, but I have to send it. I said, yeah, no, you have to send it. But let's just assume that something happens to you and you are unable to support the family members financially, because we were talking about finances. I said, will they not eat? And they said, no, the family will eat. I said, okay. Then are you the one putting stress on yourself? Or how is that coming? How is that all about? I said, because you are saying, because the way they put it was, they must. So I was trying to explore the aspect of the must, and which goes rightly to what you've said. We need to have priorities, because
Yeah.
if we just want to give and give, who is the one to give our own children or our own family members? They say,
Exactly.
when you wear the shoe, you are the only one who knows where it hurts. So
Yeah.
you need to take care of yourself, your immediate family, and then take care of other people. It doesn't mean that you ignore them if you have the means. Those are two different things.
Yeah.
And sometimes
Absolutely.
it's that we need to let go of the aspect of having a perfect Christmas.
Yes.
Because that one, to me, it comes from comparison. Because we might want to compare that, oh, that family, that friend, that neighbor, they are doing Christmas this way. Like, for instance, now we see Christmas decorations everywhere. Christmas decorations went up in August. It's almost everywhere. Like right now in my house, I don't have any Christmas decoration up. Reason
No.
being that we have a Christmas tree and the decorations in the shed.
Yeah.
Last year, I learned from last year, because my children were like, oh, mom, get the Christmas tree out. I got the Christmas tree out, and it stayed inside the house for a number of days, if not weeks.
Yeah.
Finally, I am the one who put up the tree. And after Christmas, I put down the tree. So this time around, I have told them, if they want the Christmas tree, they need to go to the shed
Yeah.
to take it out. Because if they don't, I'm not bothered.
Yeah.
So the excuse now is, in the shed, there are a lot of spiders. And I was like, okay, if the spiders will not hurt you, just go there and get it. So to me, the point I'm bringing here is, for me, I focus on the family.
Yeah.
What is it that they want? I'm not there to be comparing that my neighbor, my friend, my this has da da da. No, because those are some of the things that will put a lot of unnecessary pressure on ourselves. And
Mhm.
that is one of the ways that we can manage expectations.
Yeah. Exactly. And it all goes down again to that honesty where we have to be honest again with the kids. If we can't afford, we can't afford. A child may come, and again, this is where the competition, their friend may have been bought an expensive toy, and then they're expecting that toy. But if they come and say, no, I'm sorry, even though I would love to get you this toy, but look, I haven't got that money to give you. This is another point where either the child can accept what you can offer that child at that moment, or the child can accept delayed gratification, in where you can say, you know what, because you love this toy, we're going to be saving. We're going to save towards that toy. Let's give ourselves maybe 6 months, 3 months, 6 months down the line. And that's going to mean that your own little money that you have, bring it to me. Let's put it together and save towards that toy. Sometimes when you do like that, then the child, like they themselves may realize that, hang on, mom, you know what? That's fine. Forget it. Forget the toy. So yes, it's about managing those expectations so that we don't put ourselves under unnecessary stress. The second point that we want to talk about is creating meaningful moment without overspending. I think we've been touching on that point already.
Yeah.
We talked about Christmas is about belongingness. Christmas is about connection. It's about creating meaningful emotions, like lasting emotions, where your children can look back and say, "Oh, I remember Christmas. We did this, we did that, we did that." So it's about the lasting, the experience after that. So we can create those moments without overspending. We don't need to go and break a bank to create that meaningful moment with our children, right? So it's just like yesterday, I was teasing my daughter, and I was telling her that this year everybody is going. I'm going to put ice cube under the Christmas tree, and she was laughing. I said, "Yeah, because I don't. I'm not going to do anything this, and I understand. They know why I'm saying that." And she herself said to me that, "But mom, whatever thing you've done, is actually a gift that you've given us. So don't worry." I said, "I'm just warning you people, because that day, I'm just going to put ice and in a cup." I'll put it under the tree. So again, these are some of the things that we need to. I'm now thinking how I can create a meaningful moment that day without me necessarily spending what I would have loved to spend on them. So I don't know. I've kind of, in fact, I need to start telling them what are the ideas that you guys can bring that day, that we can spend. How do we want it? Because for me, I'll prefer that. I'll make sure that I cook, I make the food that they want, right? I'm going to ask each one, what do they want? And then if it overlaps, then of course, we pick what we can cook. And then I'm going to ask them to bring idea of how do we want to spend, because again, Christmas day in this country, Nelly, we can be tempted to just spend it as a normal day. Again, they'll come down, take their food, everybody eat, and everybody disappear in their room, and that's it. It's just like a normal day. It's just
Yeah.
like a normal day. Yeah, so I'm trying to make it, how can we make it a bit different so that it can be meaningful that day.
Yeah.
So again, that's something that I need to be thinking of.
Yeah. So for me, what I do is same like you. I ask them what meals they want because food is really important.
Hmm.
And I ask them to think of something that we can do.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they will say, we watch a movie, so we'll have a movie day.
Yeah.
And we take turns to come up with movies. Like with myself, I don't really have a particular movie, so I'm just there. Anyone that the children choose, I just
Hmm.
watch. And we like to play Christmas carols and just watch Christmas movies.
Yeah.
So then everyone comes up with their own ideas, and we just go with it because then they feel that they are involved in it, and it makes it much
Yeah.
enjoyable because we are there enjoying it together.
Yeah. It's lagging a little bit. Yeah, it's lagging a little bit. So yes, just like you were saying that again, it's about creating that and that moment, that memorable moment where you you guys as a family can spend some time that day.
So
Yeah.
we can always create one. We play games.
Yeah. Okay, Nelly's disappeared there. Yeah, so I was, as we were saying,
Mm.
I oh, okay, you're back, Nelly.
Okay, I was just talking of asking the children about their ideas. What kind of games can we play? Sometimes they'll say Uno, sometimes they just come with different kinds of games. Sometimes there are games that I don't even know, but we will play. So it's just us having that connection on the day because, like you said, in this country, we don't celebrate Christmas like the way we do back in Cameroon or back in Africa, where it's
Mm-hmm.
a day almost everyone is out and about playing. Here, everyone goes to their family, they have their meal together, and they go back home. The streets are quiet.
Mm.
So yeah, that's just how you can be creative in how you celebrate the
Mm.
Christmas.
And just by talking, something an idea pop into mind, which I think that would be a great idea. I'm thinking that I'll suggest to the kids that let's make a three-course meal, and then we distribute the meal. One person does maybe starter, another person does this dessert, and then another person does a main meal, so that is a way of engaging everybody down in the kitchen, so that we all are in the kitchen participating in that cooking. And then maybe when we finish, we now eat, and then what we can score ourselves, like, who made the best, who made the best, and what are the things that we could improve. So that is another way that we can. I think that's a nice idea. Actually, I'll introduce it to them, because it's all about making sure that all of them are active that day. Because if not, again, as parents, we'll end up being in the kitchen all ourselves. Like, you're gonna end up being in the kitchen yourself, cooking the meal, and then they're gonna come down like a normal day, carry their meal, disappear in their room, which again, it doesn't make any difference. That's just a normal practice that they do every day anyway. And then I'm also thinking,
Yeah.
there was one game that we were watching, that one of the challenge was Munjang. This Munjang, now these stones that you play and catch it. We used to play in Cameroon, where you throw stones on the ground, and then you try and catch one after the
Oh,
other.
the seven stones. Oh,
The
the
seven
last time I went
stones.
to the beach, I collected some stones. I have them in my house.
Exactly. So my daughter has been saying that I need to teach them
Yeah.
how to play that. So maybe that's another game that I'm gonna teach them that day, how to play it. So it's about looking at what are the different ways that we can
Mm,
spend that day, as a family, as a fun day, then some create at least some positive neural pathway
yeah.
in their brain. When they think of it, they say, oh, I remember this Christmas we did this together and all of that. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know
So
whether
yeah,
Nelly
I
will
think
have
we'll
another.
just go nicely
Yeah.
to the
I don't know
next
whether
point.
you want to
Coping with
introduce the third point,
loneliness.
Nelly. You want to introduce the third point?
Yeah. Yeah, so coping with loneliness or co-parenting challenges. So sometimes, as a single parent, we've been talking about the struggles. Sometimes the struggles could be around co-parenting. So in my role as a social worker, during this festive period, it's a very challenging time to arrange contact because some parents will want to spend the Christmas the whole day with the child
Mm-hmm.
home, say when the parents are separated, because the Christmas might not fall on the day that is meant to be that parents contact. There's always
Mm-hmm.
always mostly issues around making arrangement or agreeing who will have the child. And
Yeah.
imagine Christmas is a day where we assume that it's meant to be a festive time, but sometimes it can be really difficult because the parents are always
Mm-hmm. You're lagging there a little bit.
making that arrangement or agreeing to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think, Peggy, I will join on my phone.
On your phone. Okay. So yeah, while
Let
you're
me join
joining
on
on the
my
phone,
phone.
yeah, while you're joining on your phone, we're talking about coping with loneliness and co-parenting challenges. And Nelly was trying to explain this point can be really challenging, especially when we with partners that have separated. And I'm sure when it comes to child custody or child arrangement plan, some parents usually agree, say that, children are going to spend Christmas with mom, and then they're going to spend New Year with dad, or maybe they're going to spend Easter with mom, and then that. So this period, sometimes, if you guys used to spend Christmas as a family, and because of the fact that you've separated and one child is missing, or the children are missing during that period, it can be quite a lonely time. It can be quite a lonely time. And this is a moment where managing our emotions, or how to manage a situation, is very, very important. How can we make the best of that moment, rather than wallowing in guilt, wallowing in self-pity, or even going depressed just because that our children haven't spent that time with us. Okay, Nelly, you're back. I'll
Yeah,
just leave you to crack on that point. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, do you want me to talk on the point again?
Yes. Yeah, you're talking at the point. Yeah.
Okay. So it's just the aspect of co-parenting where parents do not agree. Sometimes, or most of the times, what I say is, parents, we need to learn to put our own issues to the side and focus
Yeah.
on the child, because Christmas is a period where children always remember. And whether it's for good or for bad, but it's something that they'll remember because it's usually a very special period. So that's for co-parenting. So dealing with loneliness, because it's very different. If you come from Africa, Christmas is a time where people get together. You make friends. You go to, I mean, you can eat from one house to the next, to the next, to the next.
Mm-hmm.
In this part of the world, it's very different. It's you to yourself. That time, Christmas is a time for close family ties.
Mm-hmm.
So one will leave, go and visit the mother, the father, the brother, the sister, and basically that is it. So then, if you are a single parent, and worse off, if your children are grown up and have left and have their own families, they
Mm-hmm.
might come, depending on a relationship, they might come visit you. Say you spend a few hours and they go. For some, they don't even have anyone to visit them on the day. So it becomes very, very lonely. So,
Mm.
like here, there's a lot of charities. You can get involved if you know that you are lonely. Get involved, just do some activities. So, in that way, you will be socializing, and that will reduce your loneliness, because loneliness leads to so many other things that can significantly affect your health. So, it's to
Mhm.
get involved and be doing things. Some people, when they feel lonely, they get into a shopping spree. I don't think that's a good coping strategy.
Mhm.
So if you are one of them who gets into a shopping spree when you feel lonely, then think of something creative that will benefit you or those in your community. For
Mhm.
instance, you might want to donate to those who don't have, or you might want to even visit a neighbor and say, let's go for a walk, and things like that. Just small things that mostly we take for granted. You can just get yourself active and get other people involved.
Mhm.
Because all of that, when you do that, you will be taking care of your mental health and your emotional well-being. Because when you are lonely, your mind is never quiet. So many
Mm.
things go on in your mind. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and like you say, community plays a massive role. I've seen a few people that we see in the community. They've already booked their Christmas meal. or book their Christmas meal in clubs, in different clubs, where that day they're going to just go there, have their meal that day, have their banter chat, and then come back home. So it is very important that if you are the kind that you cannot spend your time alone, because if for me, oh, my me time, it'll be the best time for to spend. But some people are not that way. Some people want to be amongst others. So if you're the type of person that you cannot spend that time alone that day, then of course find community, hang out with friends, hang out with community, like Nelly said, volunteer in a charity. Just do something that day that can make a difference in somebody's life or your own life that day. So yeah, so that's another way of coping with lonely. And another way, again, Nelly, first of all, is the mindset. Is the mindset, because for me, it's about looking at what are the things that you are really grateful for. Because sometimes we can be tempted to only look at the negative side, right? All these things, I wanted it this way, but it wasn't this way, and all of that. And then that is how, once we start thinking towards the negative, that's how the negative emotions start to build up. It's about looking at what are the things that you're grateful for that day. It is the end of the year. I always say, even bring a pen and a paper out, list out what are the achievements, what are the little micro wins that you've had from January to that December, right? And then just be grateful, have a gratitude, a mind of gratitude. Be grateful even for your children. If you're somebody that have got children, be grateful for their lives. Yes, the situation at the time may not be great, right? But once you bring in gratitude, you see that you feel more alive, and appreciative of life, in such a way that that day you will spend it even meaningfully, you spend it even well. And then once you think of those things that you've achieved, or those little, what are the lessons that you've learned along the way? Because I know that from that January to December, we are not perfect beings. We may have made errors, we may have made things that said. What are the lessons that you've learned? For me, that period is always a period of reflection. And then, where am I going to in the next year? Planning your new year, or planning the new year, I always say to people, don't leave it till the new year starts before you start planning. Plan before. So if you're somebody that you feel that, okay, maybe that Christmas day, I can take that day, or maybe that week, or yeah, Christmas week, just plan. Set your goals for the next. So again, it's about, people want to spend it in different ways. But all what I'm saying is that, please, 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 life will mess up. Life is not perfect. It's not in a straight line. Things are going to happen. People are going to step on our toes. People are going to make us sad. People are going to push us to the wall to say things and do things that we're not proud of. But at the end of the day, it's about sitting back and reflecting. What is it that I've learned? What is it that I shouldn't have done? So it's about learning and growing. So yeah. So I don't know, Nelly, want to
Yeah.
add something there before we dive to the last point?
Yeah, that is a massive one, mindset. It's
Mhm.
easy to say mindset, but changing the mindset, people really struggle
Mm.
because you will need to challenge yourself,
Mhm.
challenge your beliefs, challenge your values, challenge the mindset itself.
Mhm.
And because with beliefs, people grow up and they learn beliefs. And because they have known those beliefs for their whole life,
Mhm.
when they come to a situation where they need to start changing, they struggle. They are resistant to change because that's the only belief or the only beliefs they have known. Where would they start? And that is a point where ask for support, seek
Yeah.
for support because you don't want your situation. And a lot of people are suffering because they are resisting change. Change is a natural thing, but when we resist it, we are hurting ourselves because from
Mhm.
January to December, a lot has gone on. Sometimes we ignore the things that are not as big as we could have wanted. But then
Mhm.
every achievement, no matter how small it is an achievement.
Yeah.
Because if you did not put in the effort, you wouldn't be able to achieve anything. So
Yeah.
you need to be grateful for whatever you have achieved. And whatever you were not successful, that those are learning opportunities. And we need to start reframing what we have learned about failure. Because
Yeah.
when we fail, we were told that you were dumb, you were stupid, and all whatnot. But actually, that's not the case. When you learn, I like what Lisa Nichols says. She says, you fail forward
Yeah.
because what you took the courage to attempt to do something that was new. You
Yeah.
failed, yes, but you have learned. So next time when you want to do that same thing, you will not take the same actions that you
Mhm.
took before. So you are failing forward.
Forward.
So we
Yeah.
need to be reframing a lot of things and just ask yourself everything, even if you think that it's a stupid question. But there's no stupid question actually. So just question yourself about everything. So that way it'll be helping you to start having that awareness around some of your mindsets so then you can make changes. But seek for support. There are people who have gone through the journey like yourself. And
Mhm.
so when you start making these changes, just get into the new year on a new on a new side, on a different
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. So I think the last point that we have on our list is keeping the holidays joyful and manageable for you and your children. Right. Remember, it's a holiday at the end of the day. People who can, some people, it's 2 weeks holiday, or I don't know. But whatever thing, the children are going to be out of school for at least 2 weeks, some for 3 weeks, I don't know. But whatever the length of that time, is about making sure we enjoy the holiday. We set things, maybe try and set tasks or set things, events, or put on events or whatever that you're doing, so that the children can have a meaningful time. Because I feel that, Nelly, as a family, we need to start actually learning to, or teaching these children the full meaning of that Christmas. What is Christmas all about? Right, what is it all about? And that holiday, Christmas holiday, what are some of the things that we can start doing, to keep that Christmas spirit alive? So I know it's difficult because, yes, some parents have to work, and the kids have to be at home. But whichever way, whatever thing we're doing, we try at least to make sure we keep it engaging with the children, do things with them, so that they can have a meaningful when they go back. And you know something? When kids in this country go back to school during Christmas, or every after a holiday, they always ask them, what did they do at home? What did they
Yeah.
do? How did they spend it? And these are some of the things that children will always have things to tell in school. So yeah, I don't know, Anneli, you want to add something on that? Because I think we've touched on that point already.
Yeah, we've touched on the point. When you were talking about work, I would say sadly, during the festive period is a period where a lot of African and Caribbean parents, let me say African parents, they look for extra shifts.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, parents look for extra shifts. So, which means they have less time to spend with the children.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, the children are at home for the holiday, but the
Yeah.
parents pick extra shift and they are at work. So then, how do we make the children know the real meaning of Christmas when we are barely there? We take extra shift, come back, we are tired, we do what we can do, and then we are preparing to go back the next morning or the next shift. So sometimes it's for us to really make conscious decisions. Because
Mm-hmm.
if our children feel that what their parents do is just work and work and work, those children are seeing, they are learning as well. And that's the same thing they will do. And then what are they learning?
Mm.
So we need to sometimes, yes, it's important for us to do the job, but then
Mhm.
let's realize that if we are not there to provide that safety for our children, they will go out there, or sometimes when they feel that all the parent does is go to work, not even listening or understanding their emotional journey, that's
Mhm.
when children start talking back at their parents. Children don't listen to their parents. Children do what they feel, and then the parents are like, oh, but the child's behavior just came from nowhere. No, it doesn't. It's a build up gradually. So during this period, let's not just focus on taking extra shift. And as we have talked about this period being a very stressful period,
Mhm.
we have the helpline. The
Yeah.
helplines are available. You have like the Samaritans, they operate, I think it's 24/7.
Mhm.
Always seek for help. Even if you know that if your safety is at risk, ring 999. You have a mind charity. You have, for young people have their own access. You have like the Kuth where they can text and ask for help. You have the NSPCC helpline. So if whether you are a child or you are a parent, if you are struggling, if you need help, seek for help. There are so many helplines all over, or you can search on your phone. But if you don't have any and you are in the UK, ring 999.
Yeah. That is so true, Nelly, and that is a good tip because I think this Christmas period they usually say the rate of loneliness quite high, usually very very high during Christmas period, and because it's a winter time and for people who haven't got family, family, it can be quite lonely. So yes, and sometimes this is the period where people do certain things when the thoughts are they can't control their emotions, they can go over and do things which are not good. So just like Nelly said, if you're struggling, then of course there is help out there. Always ask for help. So we've looked at how we can actually manage that Christmas, that pressure, from Christmas demands. We've looked at how we can manage expectations. We've talked about how to streamline what we can give our kids. We must not try to keep up with the Joneses. If we don't have, we don't have, right? So we need to cut our coat according to our size, and don't look at what your neighbor or look at what a friend is doing. And no, keep your budget to your budget. So in that way, at least you can manage that expectation. You must, it's not the whole family that you have to satisfy. It's okay for people to disagree with you. It's, in fact, it's even okay for your own family member, close brothers and sisters, to fall out with you because you haven't helped them. It's okay. It's okay. So we need to get to a point where we need to manage those expectations so that we don't feel depressed, because of it. We've talked about how to create meaningful moments without overspending, and we've talked about ideas, tips that we can come up with some ideas. Like for me, like I said, for Christmas Day, we're going to be doing competition, cooking competition, and playing seven stones or whatever the name is. I call it munjang. I don't know where you come up with seven
Munjang.
stones.
No, Seven Stone is the English name.
It's an English name. Okay. So we talked about coping with loneliness on co-parenting. Again, we talked about it can be a lonely time, especially if your kids are not spending the day with you. But we've talked about how to cope, how to first of all feel gratitude, be grateful for life, how to manage our emotions, how to, look at what are the lessons that you've learned, where are you going to, what is the next goal that you're setting for yourself. So, and again, you can connect with friends, connect with community, do charitable work to keep yourself busy, and create some, at least make a difference, in back in your community. And then last but not the least, we'll talk about keeping the holiday joyful and manageable. Yes, as Nelly said, families, we need work, we need to work. But again, maybe we can make it a duty. Say, you know what, that day, what even taking day off that day is a Christmas gift that you're giving your children. You know what? I'm going to give you a Christmas gift by being, maybe I'll spend the day with you, like, not going to work or whatever. I don't know whatever routine is it. I don't know. Every people have their own routine, but try and break the routine a bit for the sake of that day and for the sake of the children, so that at least we create that meaningful moment with them. So yeah, I think that is it. So Nelly, I don't know whether anything you wanted to add, and then we call it the day.
No, I think you have summarized it really well. And let's just be flexible. Let's not be rigid to stick
Mm,
to traditional celebrations because things are
mhm,
changing. We need to be adapting as well. So some flexibility will be good. And we have talked in a way on how we can be flexible in
mhm.
how we celebrate the Christmas.
Yeah. So yeah, so this Christmas 2025, make it a goal that you're going to focus on peace over perfection. You want some peace, you want some meaningful moment, like some chill time with your family over perfection. So
And
that is
connection
the
as
goal.
well.
And connection, actually, you're focusing on peace and connection over perfection, which is
Yes.
very, very important. Very important. So yeah, so thank you so much for watching. And if you're watching later, or you're going to be watching later, and you have a comment, if you want to put a comment, or if you hear anything that you wanted to add a little bit, just jot your idea or put your comment on there. Nelly and I, we're going to read it. And if you want to join us to be part of the discussion, please feel free to let us know, and we can bring you to be, a part of the panel. And is there anything I'm missing, Nelly?
No, you've said everything, but just a comment that I want to say. Today is, I think, one of the first sessions that we have run over just by about 2 minutes. So
Yeah!
this is,
So we are getting there. We are getting
we
there.
are
We are
getting
getting there.
there. Yeah. So thank you all so much. I think we will have another session before Christmas. So we will see you again. We will have a season's topic. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. Have a nice week and see you
See ya. See ya.
in 2 weeks. Bye.